for the tag team championship of all of the WWE, both of them. It was Kevin Owens, or Cammy and Seven, Kevin and Sami, Owens and Zayn, against our friends Roman Reigns and Solo with Paul Heyman. You know, I know Paul's almost as old as me, but is it worth the flight for him to go over there and stand there completely immobile? If it was 175 degrees in that building and the sun was beating down, he wouldn't sweat. He changes his facial expression. He doesn't even shift his weight from foot to foot. Stays the same place through the whole match. Like a fucking stone statue. I'd have to do something to justify 25 hours in a plane or whatever to get over there and back.
He's content not having heat. Because he really doesn't have heat. Like, no one's like, I hate that Paul Heyman. There's none of that.
For the first time in his life, are you saying he doesn't have heat with either the fans or the boys in the back?
Well, I'm saying with the fans, he doesn't have heat. That's what I said.
So anyway, to start this match, Sami came out dressed like a Swami. And so what has been changed? Didn't they threaten to fucking abduct him, put him in a suitcase, and bury him under a pyramid or something if he came over there before because he's of the wrong religion? What's happened now? He came out dressed like the goddamn Arab Pope and they love him.
I actually don't know. I know there was an issue where he hadn't previously gone, but I don't know enough about what it was to even get. I have no idea. So I know it was a big deal him being there. And it seemed like he really embraced it, and they really embraced him.
And the fans were, oh, yes, we let. So that was it.
And I'm sure the check was really nice, too.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the normal everyday people don't care, but somebody in the government was going to fucking behead him, or the religious government. Who runs that fucking place over there? Well, nevertheless, what if somebody
MBS.
Can enlighten us?
Yes.
Okay, well, somebody can enlighten us on how Sami got a reprieve from, what do they call it, the fatwa? Is that that's what they issued onto
Salman Rushdie.
Old Solomon Grundy.
Salman Rushdie.
Salman Rushdie. I knew that was his name.
Not Sal Bass.
Yeah, they issued a fatwa on Solomon Grundy, and that's why every time people of a certain Muslim faith see him, they have to fart in his general direction. Now I got the whole thing straight.
Sounds like it, yes.
So anyway, the crowd was hot at the start of this. It cooled off as they went along as it started getting a little long. And then, of course, we had the fireworks at the end. But Roman Reigns is a great heel. I mean, he just has to work the people and, just the attitude that he has. And for much of the first part of the match, it was Solo against the other two. And Corey Graves said one thing that didn't make sense, but then he redeemed himself with me. They were talking about Roman Reigns being such a despicable person, right? And Graves said, well, as long as Roman Reigns is running the show, my checks are bigger. How does that make sense for an announcer? You get paid the same fucking thing no matter who the champion was. Does the NBA gear their announcer pay to whoever wins the NBA finals or... I don't know, but then
it's more an indictment on the WWE pay scale than anything else.
It's like, yeah, if we don't have a good drawing champion, we can't afford to pay you much, Corey. But then later on, he redeemed himself when he said that somebody's punches their fists are like getting punched in the face with a Thanksgiving turkey. So I like that. But Zayn sells great. He sells like El Generico. That's one thing I always liked about him. Solo, as I mentioned earlier in the program, getting better and more comfortable. He still can be a little bit smoother, but that's experience, which he's still getting, and he's smoothed out, I think. He looks better, more confident. Sami, again, they have to do the thing where Sami sells and gets a tag to Owens, and then Owens sells and gets a tag to Sami. And after you've seen Sami sell, Owens selling is a fucking letdown. And it makes the match so long because then they do such complicated shit at the end that it's goddamn long. And I noticed Sami fought both the heels on the floor when they'd gotten the heat on him and he set up to make the tag to Kevin. laid them out both on the floor in front of the announce desk and then crawled into the ring for the tag and was doing the swimming crawl across the ring that traditionally a babyface would do if he's crawling for the hot tag and people would get with it. The people didn't get with it. And the reason why, because the heels were not only too far away, they were on the floor instead of down in the ring where Sami could. There was no imminent danger to Sami that anybody was going to stop him. And the heels being on the floor to the people in the stadium made it more improbable that they were going to stop him. So they were thinking he was going to get the tag before he did. That reduces the pop when he does get the tag. And that's why when it comes out of nowhere, it's bigger. And I see what they were going for here, but they should have had both heels down in the heel corner and let Sami start crawling from there where they could have stood up and tried to make a dive at his feet at the last second. And then the place would have blown. But nevertheless, the crowd, after Owens' comeback, and they did simultaneous tags again. Roman and Kevin fought. They went to the floor. They came back in. Then Kevin came back up and got a 2 count on Roman. Frog splash, 2 count on Roman. But now they're going to have to stop Owens. So which they do. And the match kind of slowed down to a crawl because Owens and Solo now disappear. And Reigns works the people. And then suddenly, Owens stunners Roman, and Roman immediately spears Kevin, and both of them sell and then tag the reappearing Sami and Solo, who have disappeared before, and then they're immediately into 100 miles an hour. You see how the modern tag team matches especially bug me, and I've mentioned it, because people just disappear like they go off stage and await their cue to come back into the scene, and they're laying there in the middle of the fucking arena where everybody can see them motionless for minutes for no reason, and then they suddenly spring back to life. It's like giving spotlight to a different section of a play. And they go back and forth so much. I don't know. Let me ask you this. Is it just me? Did I get tired of it? Or by the time they got to the finish that we're about to talk about, were the people tired of this in the building also? Did you get that impression?
I can't speak to the building. I could tell you I was feeling the same way you were. And unfortunately, with a lot of these matches and a lot of these people that we've seen in the ring together a lot in the last few months, I'm just waiting for the drama. I'm waiting for the angle. I'm waiting for the moment, because I know that's going to come, and it'll more than likely be better than the whole match and a bigger payoff to everything than everything in the match. And that's what happened. That's exactly what happened.
Then here it comes. Sami finally hit his kick on Solo, but Roman saved. And then it was Roman against Sami with the other two disappeared, but Roman goes to spear Sami, and Sami moves, and Roman spears the referee. And that's where Paul Heyman actually moved for the first time, but only his facial muscles. But then Sami hit the Superman punch on Roman. And then Roman came back and hit the Superman punch on Sami. And then Owens speared Roman, and they went to the floor. And Owens cleared off both of the fucking announce desks, both Fubar and Slapco's, as well as the English language desk. But suddenly, the Usos, who we were led to believe weren't in Saudi Arabia and had not been invited by Roman Reigns, are at ringside and jump Owens and hit him with double super kicks. And that's where I noticed the fans are not losing their minds like they should be. And that part of it is because the referee was down. Part of it is because now here we go into this long side tangent in this supposedly linear story we were trying to tell with this match. And the Usos turn the desk over on Owens and then get in the ring because the referee's still down and hit single super kicks on Sami and then go for a double one, but he fucking falls out of the way and they double super kick Solo. And Roman from down on the floor is looking up and sees that, and he's bullshit. And Roman gets in there and starts yelling at the Usos. And here's when now we're full-fledged in the dramatic rendition of this play.
Did Roman only see the super kick on Solo? Did Roman see Sami drop out right before it?
I think we are led to believe that he just saw this. He was reacting to the double super kick on Solo. But I because we couldn't tell what he saw from his vantage point.
Right.
But nevertheless, the point is he's just reading the riot act to the Usos and starts pie-facing them and is telling them, get out of my fucking ring. And suddenly, Jimmy hauls off and super kicks Roman. Boom, and there's the big pop. Because now they've forgotten all about the match. Here's the drama we waited to see. And Jay is bullshit over this. And Jimmy's yelling at Jay, said, I'm your brother, and he does it again, super kicks him again. And Jay's like, no, you didn't do that. And Jimmy's like, I'm your brother, not him. And now we got to go.
And I'm doing what you should have done.
Yeah, I'm doing what you should have done. You should have done this a long time ago. And he now says, we got to go. And he drags Jay out, and they leave. And Solo staggers up in the middle of the ring, and Owens hits a stunner, and Sami hits his kick. And wouldn't you know, just at that exact moment, about 4 full minutes after the first referee was wiped out with the spear, they finally found another referee, and he slides in at the immediately proper moment. 1, 2, 3. So it was long as a tag team match. It was okay and kind of like, one of those modern matches. People are going to disappear, and it's going to go long. And it's going to be so complicated because that's what makes it good. They had a good story going into it, and they had the story that people were interested in, which was the bloodline and what's going to happen next. And they got to people at the end. So it was a sports entertainment finish that would have killed a town 30 years ago. But now that people don't expect any of this to make sense, it was good for these modern times and gave them what they wanted to see.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's interesting now because I guess we're not going to really get a follow-up until Friday when they do the 1,000-day celebration on SmackDown. So that's...
I wonder if the Usos' invitation was rescinded.
Oh, that's right. They did get an invitation from Paul Heyman to attend.
Uh-huh.
But that's all anyone's going to wait for now. It doesn't matter what match they put on SmackDown. That's the only thing on SmackDown that matters is what's going to happen with the bloodline drama there.